Hi guys, I am back today to do my 28-week pregnancy update, and oh my gosh, has it been a crazy week so far. This is seriously the third time that I'm recording this video because the first time I recorded it, the camera wasn't focused, so the entire video came out blurry, rookie move. And then I made another rookie mistake. When I went to go record it again, my freaking battery died. So I'm here for the third time trying to record this video, so I just want to get through it. So week 28 has not been a good week for me. It kind of started off in the beginning of the week when we had kind of a big scare. I want to say it was Monday of this week. It was Monday night around 11 p.m. and I was still up, but I was laying in bed already. And I started to get like a crampy, dull, achy feeling in my left pelvic area, and it kind of radiated towards my back, which I've never felt anything like that before. So I was like, let me just lay here and see what happens and hopefully it'll go away. As the night progressed, the pain just got worse and worse and worse. So I was starting to kind of freak out. My husband ended up waking up because he could hear me kind of tossing and turning and trying to get comfortable. And I was trying to explain to him that my side was just hurting really bad, and it was super sensitive to touch, so when I touched it, it would just hurt really bad, and any little movement that I made, it would just make the pain even worse. So the only option that I had was to pretty much lay still. So since the pain wasn't going away and it was just kind of getting worse, my husband and I were kind of freaking out. Like, he wanted to take me to the ER immediately, and I was like, no, let me just lay here and kind of see what happens and wait for it to kind of go away. But it wasn't going away, so I decided to call my doctor, and it was the middle of the night, so I knew they weren't going to answer, and I was just going to leave a voicemail and let them know, what was going on, and hopefully they would get back to me in the morning as soon as they got into the office. So I was laying in bed in a ton of pain, kind of just waiting for it to get better. It wasn't getting better. I was trying to leave my husband alone so he could get some rest because he had work in the morning, and I didn't. So I was just kind of laying there, and then all of a sudden I start to freaking get heartburn. So I had to somehow get myself up, go to the bathroom, and I was in there for like 2 hours just throwing up because the heartburn was so bad. It's been the worst week so far in my pregnancy, and I'm just so glad that it's over. But finally I started to feel a little bit better from the heartburn. So I went back to my bed and laid down, and my side was still hurting really bad, so kind of just lay there for a few more hours, and I ended up falling asleep for a little bit. And then I woke up around 7:30 when my husband woke up to go to work, and just kind of laid there again waiting for my nurse to call me. It was finally like 9 a.m. when the nurse called me, and she was kind of asking me to explain what was going on, and I was telling her about the pain that I had on my left side. She asked me if I had pulled a muscle or something like that. I told her, I don't know. I haven't done anything to cause for me to pull a muscle, so I didn't think it was that. And she told me, okay, let me talk to the doctor and then I'll get back to you. She called me back a few minutes later, and she told me that the doctor wanted me to try 2 ibuprofen, add icy hot to the area, and then add a hot compress. After she told me that, she said, if that doesn't work in 3 hours, then you have to go to labor and delivery immediately, at the hospital, which she told me don't go to the ER or urgent care. She said just go straight to labor and delivery. So in my head, I was freaking out. I was thinking of the worst possible thing that could happen, and I was home alone because my husband was already at work. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I was gonna have to go to the hospital by myself, or what they were even gonna do at the hospital. I thought the nurse was just gonna be like, oh, I'll just have you come into the office and we'll check the heartbeat, make sure the baby's okay. But she didn't. She told me just to go straight to the hospital and go to labor and delivery, which that freaked me out. Since I was home alone, I had to somehow get myself up and go to the store because I didn't have any ibuprofen, and I don't know how I did it, but I managed to get to the grocery store and I was walking around in so much pain, and I came home and I had to eat something because since I had been throwing up all night, I was just super hungry, which I'm hungry in the mornings anyways, but I was just extra hungry and thirsty that morning. So I had something to eat, and then I finally had the ibuprofen around 12. So that means I had till 3 o'clock to feel better. And I laid down and I put the icy hot, and then I added the hot compress, and I was hoping that I would start to feel better because I did not want to have to go to the hospital. Which at first I wasn't really feeling better because the hot compress got cold. So I had to get up and come to the kitchen again and warm up the hot compress, and all of a sudden I got like this shooting pain all over my lower back, and it kind of made me like bend over and grab my stomach because it hurt so bad that it made me feel nauseous. I had to just stand there for like a few minutes and just wait for the hot compress to warm up, and walked over to my bedroom and just laid down and put it on, added some more icy hot, and I was like, please God, like let this work. Like I want to start to feel better. And I want to say around 2 o'clock I started to feel like I was starting to feel a little bit better, like the pain was starting to go away. So I was really happy about that. And that's when my husband called me and was kind of asking me how things were going, and I let him know that I was starting to feel a little bit better. But like at that point I was just so frustrated and scared and like didn't know what to do, and I just wanted him to come home because I needed somebody to help me kind of get up and move around and do things for me because I couldn't. It was just so painful for me. I want to say I fell asleep for about 45 minutes, and then I woke up around like 2:45ish, and I was feeling so much better. Like the pain was almost completely gone. And 3 o'clock came around, which was the deadline to see if I had to go to the hospital or not. But since I was feeling better, I didn't have to go. So I was so happy. Like I was so scared I didn't want to have to go to the hospital because I didn't know what was going to happen if I did have to go, you know. And my parents were leaving to Mexico the next day. So if I had to like be in the hospital or like have the baby or something, like my parents weren't even going to be here, and like I'm only 28 weeks, and like that's way too early to have a baby. So I was just freaking out, and I'm so glad that it's over and I feel so much better and I haven't had to deal with that again. And as far as my heartburn goes, I started taking some medication for it daily. So I take a pill in the morning for 14 days, and then I shouldn't have heartburn up until the baby comes here. So hopefully I won't have to deal with that again because heartburn freaking sucks. Like I get it so bad that I have to literally just throw up everything that I eat that day, and it sucks. On top of having that big scare this week, lately I have just been feeling like so tired and so big and just so like stressed out, and nausea has started to come back, which is normal for people in their 3rd trimester for the nausea to come back. So just now that I'm a lot bigger and my stomach's starting to grow a lot more, I just feel really tired and low energy, and I've been getting really stressed out because like I want to have everything ready for the baby, and I can't like do everything at once. I have so many things that I want to do before the baby gets here, and there's a lot of responsibility that comes with getting ready for a baby and then not knowing what to do once the baby gets here, which in a couple of weeks I'm going to be taking a Lamaze class, and at that class they're going to be talking to us about the labor and delivery part of it, and then they're also going to be helping us out with breastfeeding, and then they're going to teach us a little bit about how to take care of a newborn. So I'm really excited about that. I feel like it's going to help me out a lot with my stress and kind of just ease my mind a little bit to have a little bit more knowledge about what's going to happen, because I don't know anything. Like it's my first time, so I'm just kind of stressed out and worried that something could go wrong or that I'm just not going to do anything. And I feel like if I have the knowledge to kind of know what's going on, and then I'll feel a little bit better and I'll feel a little bit more prepared. Up until this point, I feel like I've been able to kind of cruise through my pregnancy without having any big like complications or like really bad symptoms. And all of a sudden, now that I'm in my 3rd trimester, it's really hard physically and it's really hard mentally. So I just feel like these last 3 months are going to be a little bit difficult for me. They're not going to be as easy as my 1st and 2nd trimester. I've started to also get a little bit of swelling in my feet. I notice if I am walking around for a really long time, then my feet will start to swell up a little bit. It's not too bad. I know probably later on it'll get worse. I've also started to get headaches more often. I think I had a headache earlier this week that lasted for like 4 days. It finally went away, so I'm starting to feel a little bit better. And like I said, I've just been super stressed out. Like, I feel like I'm not in control of my body, which makes me feel like I'm not in control with my life, and I just feel like I can't really get my life together right now. It feels like it's kind of spiraling out of control, and I just want it to kind of go back to being normal, which this is my new normal. Like, being pregnant, going to be a mom, it's going to be constantly changing, and I just need to be ready for that. And I think mentally I've just been so overwhelmed from all the changes that are going on, and I hope that next week I can deal with these emotions differently. I feel like when you're super hormonal and pregnant, like, dealing with stress is just a little bit harder, because no matter how many times you tell yourself that everything is going to be okay, even if you have the perfect plan to combat a task or a feeling, like, when you're pregnant, your brain just doesn't let you see that everything's going to be okay and this feeling isn't going to be there forever. And it just takes me a little bit longer to kind of process things and make myself realize that everything's going to be okay and we're going to figure it out. And by the way, my husband has just been really great with me. He's been helping me out a lot around the house, and mentally he's just been trying to talk to me, and sometimes we just literally sit down and talk about everything and talk about how excited we are for our baby to come and all the things that we're going to do with our baby, and it just makes me feel so much better. Also, another thing that made me feel so much better this week was that my mom finally finished making his blanket. She handmade this blanket, actually. Super cute. It's a gray, light blue and white, and then she made this little teddy bear right here in the corner. That's going to be his theme for his nursery, so I can't wait to use it and set it up in his nursery. I think I'm going to wrap up my video right there. It's been a crazy week. I'm so glad that it's over, and I'm just ready to start fresh, another week, and hopefully have better days. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back next week at